guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to another video. Today we are in my house because I was not about to drag all these books to school when I'm just gonna have to drag them right back home. So if we're gonna do a book haul, we're gonna do it in my house. I'm sorry, I can't lug all these books around. I actually got 15 books before Christmas and then I got 13 books for Christmas. So today I thought I'd show you my Christmas books that I received just because I thought this would be something fun. I usually don't do book hauls because I usually don't get that many books. So let's see what I got. But before we do, I also have this lovely fizzy water. I love these. I don't know if you have Kroger where you live, but Kroger has these like flavored waters. I may have showed you these before, but this one's Dr. Pepper flavored seltzer water. It has no sugar, no fake sugar, nothing like that. It is just flavor and water. Oh, it's like if you just want the carbonation and a hint of Dr. Pepper, it's so good. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull these out totally at random from this bag that I have, which I can show you the bag at the end too because it's really pretty. So I got some of these were gifted to me. Well, all of them were gifted to me, duh, it's Christmas. Some are ones that I wanted though, and some are ones I had no idea I was gonna get. So this is one that was on the list that I wanted. I told my mother-in-law some ideas and she also told like her daughter. And so between the two of them, I actually got quite a few of the ones that were on my list. So I wanted Neon Gods by Katie Robert. Unspeakably hot, it says. It's some sort of like romance, fantasy romance, but it's like a modern retelling of Hades and Persephone, where like Olympus is an ultra modern city or something. And I know that this author has like other romance novels. I think she's the one that writes it's like Disney retellings where like the main character falls in love with the villain or something. But anyway, this will hopefully be the fantasy romance I've been wanting because the one I'm reading now is not. But this one has some promise and I love Greek mythology. So this was also on my list of my most anticipated books for 2021. So I definitely need to read it. Okay, next is a book that I've never even heard of. It's by David Mitchell. It's called Slade House. This is the author of Cloud Atlas and The Bone Clocks. I think it's a story about a haunted house. So I think it's like a thriller, possibly kind of horror type novel. I don't know anything about it. I mean, it looks like one of my baby's books with the cutout in it. But one of my sister-in-law got me this. She actually admitted later she had it on her shelf, she said, and just didn't want it anymore and thought I would like it. But it says, down the road from a working class pub along a narrow brick alley, you might just find the entrance to Slade House. A stranger will greet you by name and invite you inside. At first, you won't want to leave. Later, you'll find that you can't. Ooh. Every 9 years, the residents of Slade House extend an invitation to someone who's different or lonely. A precocious teenager, a recently divorced policeman, a shy college student. But what really goes on inside? For those who find out, it's already too late. Spanning decades, leaping genres, and barreling toward an astonishing conclusion, Slade House is a haunted house story as only David Mitchell could imagine it. And it's only like 238 pages. And I don't know, it's so bizarre. Okay, well, and there's a map in the beginning about the house, I guess. So, I mean, I'm definitely intrigued enough that I will definitely try it out. Okay, looks like next on the list is a book, or not on the list, next in the bag is a book that my husband got me. So I'm not going to go through all these again, but I have another video, which I will link at the end of this video, which is me unwrapping a bunch of books that my husband bought me just for fun that I had no idea what he got. And he got me a light novel, which I have never read one like this before, but apparently it's like sci-fi fantasy. So I'm definitely going to try this one. Next one is a book my husband also got me, which is Keeper of the Lost Cities. It's a large middle grade novel. And considering how obsessed I've been with the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend, I'm hoping that this series is just as good. I think there's like 8 of these or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, according to the back, there's at least 8. And I think they're all pretty large, so I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully it'll be similar to Nevermore. But yeah, it's like 500 pages. Oh, you knew I was gonna smell books, right? Smells good. New, but good. So anyway, I don't know anything about this one except that it's vaguely Harry Potter-esque. I feel like it's the chosen one trope or whatever, and some people don't like it. One of my favorite booktubers is JD Ray from JD Ray Reads, and Jade did not like this book, and I was shocked. I'm pretty sure she said it was on like her most disappointing books of last year because she had high hopes, and it just didn't work for her, which is crazy because she loves middle grade. So hopefully I will like it, especially since I now own it. The next book I got is from my parents. It was actually both to me and my husband because my husband loves Disney stuff too, but the unofficial Disney Parks drink recipe book. So if you ever wanted to make some, LeFou's brew or whatever, or Carbon Freeze, bubble milk tea, like from Epcot. They have all the drinks from the Star Wars world. They have Dole Whip, I believe, even though I think it's more of a dessert, isn't it? But I'm pretty sure Dole Whip's in here. They have the blue milk, yeah, from Star Wars. Let's see. Oh, sorry, it's Dole Whip Float, Kakamora Float, which I've heard a lot about. Pumpkin Spice Milkshake, peanut butter and jelly milkshake. I'm pretty sure that's isn't that a 50s Primetime Cafe, I think. So I've not even had a lot of these in Disney World, but I would definitely be intrigued to make them. A Jabba Juice, I've heard of that, especially as Ash grows up, and I think he will really appreciate the flair that these books, that these drinks will have. And I also own the food book, just like regular food recipes too, that's a lot bigger than this one. But anyway, I'm excited to try to make some of these. So the next two books, there's a funny story. This book is one that I did ask for, Hyperion by Dan Simmons. I honestly knew nothing about what it's about, except that it's more of a classic sci-fi. I say classic, but I think it was written in the copyright 1989, so I mean it's not super old, but this book is talked about so frequently by Books with Brittany, who I love her channel so much, and she loves Hyperion. It is like one of her favorite series ever of all time. She loves Dune, which I didn't really like Dune, so I'm also kind of scared then to read this, but we have relatively similar taste, I feel like, most of the time, and I did not know what this book was about. Like I said, I knew it was sci-fi, but once I read the back after they bought it for me, I realized how much I really, really want to read it, because there's this creature in this world called Hyperion, and the creature's called the Shrike. This says there are those who worship it, there are those who fear it, and there are those who have vowed to destroy it. In the Valley of the Time Tombs, that sounds awesome, where huge brooding structures move backward through time, the Shrike waits for them all. On the eve of Armageddon, with the entire galaxy at war, 7 pilgrims set forth on a final voyage to Hyperion, seeking the answers to the unsolved riddles of their lives. Each carries a desperate hope and a terrible secret, and one may hold the fate of humanity in his hands. The setting sounds awesome. The premise sounds awesome. All the concepts in it sound amazing. So I guess this is the Shrike. Is that what that thing is? Because that is really freaky looking. Anyway, I cannot wait to read this. And it's a whole series. I believe there's like 5 of them. Like Endymion, The Fall of Hyperion. I don't know. Is that one? It doesn't list them in the front. But, oh, here it is. Yeah, there's a bunch. Okay, so I think there's at least 5. But hopefully I will get around to this one this year. It's not on my top priority list, which I'm going to be making a list soon, but it is definitely up there. So the funny part about this is that that's the only Dan Simmons book I asked for. I don't know too many other Dan Simmons books, which I now know he has written a bunch, apparently. From the front of that book, it lists like tons of them. But my sister-in-law got me a book that she thought I would like, just sort of based on the premise of it, and I had no idea that this even existed. It is massive, and it's called Drood by Dan Simmons. Look at this thing. It's like, is it 800 pages? Almost 800 pages, but it's just massive. It looks even longer. It looks like 1,200 pages or something. So I think it's a thriller. It says it's a mesmerizing thriller. Oh no, that's his other book called The Terror. I lied, but I'm pretty sure it is scary, and I'm pretty sure it's something about Charles Dickens and a serial killer. That's all I know. So I guess Drood is the name and nightmare that obsesses Charles Dickens for the last 5 years of his life. Is this a true story? Possibly. Did Charles Dickens, was he obsessed with a serial killer or something? Dickens and his mistress are secretly returning to London, where their express train hurtles over a gap in a trestle. All of the first-class passengers, except the one carrying Dickens, are smashed to bits in the valley below. When Dickens descends into the valley to confront the dead and dying, his life will be changed forever. And at the core of that ensuing 5-year nightmare is Drood, a name that Dickens whispers to his friend Wilkie Collins. A laudanum addict and lesser novelist, Collins flouts Victorian sensibilities by living with one mistress while having a child with another. But he was maybe the only man on earth with whom Dickens can share the secret of Drood. Increasingly obsessed with crypts, cemeteries, and the precise length of time it would take for a corpse to dissolve in a lime pit, Dickens ceases writing for 4 years and wanders the worst slums and catacombs of London at night while staging public readings during the day. Gruesome readings that leave his audiences horrified. Finally, he begins writing what would have been the world's first great mystery masterpiece, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, only to be interrupted forever by Drood. Based on actual biographical events, Drood explores the still unresolved mysteries of one of our greatest writers' dark final days in a profoundly original tale that confirms Lincoln Child's assessment of New York Times bestselling author Dan Simmons as a giant among novelists. That sounds amazing, and I need to go research this immediately because I have never heard about the fact that Charles Dickens was obsessed with this Drood or whatever. I've never heard, was he really in an accident where everybody died except for him? I don't know. Is this true? I've got to go research this. This is fascinating. The same sister-in-law that bought me Drood also got me The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And this has been on my radar for a long time. I hear a lot of people talking about it. I know it's dark academia, which I sometimes like and sometimes don't. It just depends on the book. But I know that this one is definitely more like an adult novel, so I think I will like it compared to a lot of these YA novels that I've tried to read. It's very, like, dense. Like, it's heavy to be so little. And look how small this font is. Can you see this? This is insanely tiny. Like, this is gonna take forever. It's 500, more than 550 pages of very small font. And it's very just compact, I guess would be the word. It says it's a modern classic, both compelling and elegant, dramatic and playful. And my sister-in-law that got me this is also reading this book, and she was about halfway through, I think, when she decided that she also had to get me a copy because it was that good that she's like, you have to read this. So I cannot wait to read it, and at least I will know somebody that has read it so I can discuss it with her. But it's an accomplished psychological thriller. It doesn't even say, isn't that interesting that nowhere does it say what it's about? We've got a claim for The Secret History, then it just starts. On the back it just tells, I mean, seriously, there's literally, it's just like blurbs. Oh no, wait, here it is. This is the summary. It's like this big. Sorry if you hear my husband. He's playing video games with his friends and they're way down the hall, but I feel like you can almost still hear him talking. Okay, under the influence of their charismatic classics professor, a group of clever, eccentric misfits at an elite New England college discover a way of thinking and living that is a world away from the humdrum existence of their contemporaries. But when they go beyond the boundaries of normal morality, they slip gradually from obsession to corruption and betrayal, and at last inexorably into evil. Next is a book you've already seen, so I'm not going to spend long on it, but it's called The Book of Dragons, edited by Jonathan Strahan, because this is a collection of short stories, I think never been published before, potentially, maybe. I could have made that up, but it's all stories about dragons. Oh yes, written exclusively for this anthology, yes. There are stories from R.F. Kuang, who I've heard of, Todd McCaffrey, I feel like that name sounds familiar. There were a few names that I actually did recognize in here. Jane Yolen, I feel like I've heard that name before. Daniel Abraham, KJ Parker. I know I've heard of KJ Parker. Is he the one that now writes the Bone Ships thing? I think so. Maybe. I could have just made that up too. I'm just making things up this whole video. But I've heard of quite a few of these authors. And Scott Lynch. Yeah, Scott Lynch. Okay, so I've heard of a few, and I believe that they're all relatively short at least. I mean, since there's so many of them in this book. I mean, the book's pretty long. Oh, and there's artwork. Yeah, I think there's going to be some art throughout as well, potentially. Yeah, illustrated by. So it's very pretty, very appealing. Love it. Looks very wintry, so I do feel like I need to read this winter. I think I'll read it between books. So when I get tired of one big giant series or a big giant fantasy, like I just finished the Nevermore trilogy, not trilogy, it's going to be more books, but the 3 of the Nevermore books. Now I'm reading Wicked Saints. I'm on the 2nd book of that series. So by the time I finish reading some series, I'm probably just going to want a little short story, like a little palate cleanser. So I might just read these off and on, maybe even throughout the entire year, but definitely starting in the winter because it looks so wintry. Okay, we have 3 books to go, it looks like. This is a book that I asked for and I got from my husband's family. So this one's called Night Film by Marisha Pessl. And this book is a book I've been wanting to read for a long time because I read Neverworld Wake by the same author, which is a young adult kind of like mystery, thriller, sci-fi thing. I loved it. It's like one of my favorite young adult books of all time ever, and I cannot wait to read it again, which is crazy for me to say when it comes to young adult. But this is her adult novel, and I believe it's also sort of a thriller. I don't want to read the entire summary because it's really long, but it says it's gorgeously written, spellbinding literary thriller, and I hear so much about it. I own her other book, which may or may not be on the shelf behind me. Oh, yeah, there it is. I don't know if you can see it. Special Topics in Calamity Physics, which that's also an interesting name, but I'm pretty sure that one's also an adult thriller. But I hear that this one's better, so I think I'm going to start with this one first, and then if I like this one, I'll read that one too. But the other one's really chunky, although this one's nothing to scoff at either. It's 550 some pages too, or no, more than that even, and it's just really dense, and like the pages are thin and like kind of slick. It almost reminds me of some sort of like textbook or like a dictionary or something. I like that the page numbers are kind of not in the corner. That's like the first time I've ever seen that. And the title's written down the side of the page and the author. So that's neat. Yeah, anyway, this one, not super high on the priority list for right now anyway, at least for 2021, because I have so many other books I want to get to, but I will definitely be reading this one day. So I have 2 books to go. They are both nonfiction, which I don't read tons of nonfiction, but I'm actually excited to because I like it when I do read it. One is a book that I never knew existed, and my mom got it for me. It's called The Read Aloud Family, Making Meaningful and Lasting Connections with Your Kids by Sarah Mackenzie. And at first I thought it was just going to be about reading aloud to like little kids, little babies. No, it's reading aloud to any age, like up through when they're teenagers, basically. It says the Read Aloud Family offers age-appropriate book lists from infancy through adulthood. From a toddler's wonder to a teenage resistance, you will find practical strategies to make reading aloud a meaningful family ritual. Because reading aloud not only has the power to change your family, it has the power to change the world. It tells you it will prepare your kids for academic success for reading to them. It will develop empathy and compassion in your kids through reading books, find time to read aloud in the midst of school sports and dinner dishes. Choose books across a variety of sibling interests and ages. I don't think he's going to have any siblings. He's going to be an only child. Make reading aloud the best part of your family's day. So it's all about making connections, just tips and strategies, it sounds like. And I might read this book throughout then. Like right now, just read the parts for like little babies. I mean, so Ash is like almost 11 months old now. So I could read the first probably few chapters of this book and then save the rest for later. Like how to create a book club at home with your kids. Obviously, I don't need that quite yet. So I don't have to read too much of this one, but I will definitely skim through it because this could be really useful. Finally, the last book that I have is a book I did ask for. My husband's family also got me this one, and it is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I hear about this all the time. It seems like everyone on BookTube has read it, so therefore I'm going to trust their advice because I would never normally pick this up, but it has sold over 3 million copies. It is an easy, proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. Tiny changes, remarkable results. All I have time for are tiny changes because with work and the baby, there's literally no time for anything else except for apparently YouTube on the weekends when he's napping, which is what I'm doing right now. So I don't know what it says discover the secret to results that last. I don't know what the secret is. I know it's something about just doing little small changes. It says it's a special book that will change how you approach your day and live your life. It's supremely practical and useful. And I feel like I don't have too many bad habits and I don't really need too many more habits, but it says this offers a proven framework for getting 1% better every day. So, I mean, that sounds good. Just to see what kind of advice he does offer. It's not super long either. Habit stacking, I've heard about that. So it will reshape the way you think about progress and give you the tools and techniques you need to transform your habits. No matter kind of what you're looking to do. Reduce stress, achieve success at the last, being a leader in an organization, if you want to quit smoking, an athlete looking to win a championship. I mean, I do want to run a lot more. I want to run a 10K next year. Well, this year now, it's already January. I want to run a 10K in October at Disney. I want to do the wine and dine 10K thing. So I'm super excited about that. So I have all the way till October and I can already run like 2 miles again without dying. So post baby, I did not get to work out very often. Anyway, maybe this will help me kind of find my focus with running again. I love the cover. It's actually very satisfying. It's definitely a book I could have listened to on audio, but I don't know. I thought maybe highlighting and underlining, and look, I mean, there's like diagrams that just couldn't be as effective in an audiobook, right? So I think that this will be helpful to have the physical copy, but I'm super excited to get around to this one. So those are some books that I received for Christmas. I'm going to be doing another video soon about just other books that I have purchased myself recently that had nothing to do with Christmas, but I haven't done a book haul in so long that they've really built up. So those are 13 that I got there for Christmas, and then I bought another 15 myself relatively recently. So I'm going to be showing you those in another video, but thank you guys so much for watching and have a good day. Bye. I totally forgot to mention a book, so I'm just gonna sneak this in here, pretend like I'm not filming this later and bending my knees to pretend like I'm sitting. I also got a textbook type thing for Christmas from my husband, which is theme park design. This is literally a textbook. It was very expensive and we ordered it on eBay used so that we wouldn't have to pay the full price. But it's literally a textbook. I've read oh, do you like my bookmark? Yeah, I'm fancy around here. Just rolling in it apparently, I use money for my bookmarks. Anyway, so this is just something you could kind of just skim through as you will, I suppose. Just when I have time, I'll look through it. But this could be for anybody who truly wants to design a theme park, or for someone like me who just is an avid theme park enthusiast. I got married sort of near a theme park / at a theme park, and then had my reception there. It was Cedar Point. Anyway, so this is perfect for me, and I feel like I'll know a lot more of what goes into the planning, the design, like lines. You learn about how those work, the process, the theming, the stories, the design, the land design, attraction design, everything. So I cannot wait to read this book, or at least skim through it. I'm gonna underline, I'm gonna highlight, I'm gonna make notes. I was a nerd in school. This is like taking a class but not having to take a test on it, so I'm super excited. I am terrible because I also forgot to show you something else, which is this cool bag I got. It's from Barnes & Noble, and it just says Carpe Librum, seize the book. I thought it was cool. I think this side says, no, this side says not Barnes & Noble, it's Books A Million. I lied, I can't keep my bookstore straight. Anyway, it's gigantic, and it's perfect for transporting books to and from my house to film videos at school. So I think that's mostly what I'm gonna use it for.